The internal warfare that perpetually tracked your peace, that relentlessly hunted your quiet moments, has been entirely disarmed and stripped of its power over you. That desolate, draining season that seemed intent on consuming your very soul has officially reached its expiration date. When a divine voice declares, "Well done," it's not merely a polite round of applause for your efforts. It carries the full weight of authority. It is the ultimate statement that the intense test has concluded, the long trial has been justly judged, and your unwavering endurance has been profoundly noted and honored. You didn't just crack or crumble under the crushing weight of the pressure you faced. You did something far more powerful. You transformed beneath it, emerging stronger, sharper, and utterly different. You didn't just narrowly survive the relentless storm that raged around you. No, you became the very force that dictated the storm's end, the quiet moment of its final dispersal. Every single battle you had to face, every single skirmish was, in truth, an intense training ground, preparing you specifically for this monumental moment of breakthrough. Each scar you carry isn't a mark of damage or defeat. It's a profound signature of divine promotion, a testament to the high-level work being done in you. Let's be clear, you were never, not for a single second, being punished for anything. You were, with an intentional and meticulous hand, being prepared for the glory you are about to step into. And now the heavens themselves have intervened, stepping into your timeline to formally declare that the spiritual contract you had with pain and sorrow has been definitively canceled and rendered void. The very enemy forces that were so determined to bury you, to keep you silenced and submerged in darkness, are now forced to watch in impotent rage as you rise. You are untouched and unscathed by the very weapons that once managed to wound you so deeply. Please understand, this remarkable moment isn't the grand finale of your life's story. It is, however, the absolute non-negotiable end of suffering's right to ever author your future narrative again. So please, right now, take a deliberate, mindful pause. Take a deep, cleansing breath. Can you feel that profound stillness beginning to gently wrap itself around you? A sensation like a warm, comforting blanket? That deep quiet is not a sign of emptiness or absence. That is the feeling of freedom finally arriving, settling in the atmosphere around you. It is a peace treaty, personally signed and delivered by God Almighty. I urge you to remain with me until the very final word of this message, because what you are about to receive isn't some casual opinion or simple encouragement. It is a powerful, undeniable prophecy for your life. This is beyond comfort. It is absolute, undeniable confirmation. The divine just personally and unilaterally closed the longest, most grueling chapter of suffering you've ever known, and a completely new, quiet, and formidable authority is awakening and rising up within your spirit. If you can feel this profound, potent word resonating and stirring deep within your soul right now, let me know by hitting that like button. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't joined us yet, and take a moment to drop the number 99 in the comments below. Why 99? Because in this spiritual season, 99 represents that final, intense chapter, right before total and complete completion is achieved. You are the missing one in that equation, the one single person the heavens have just fully and divinely restored. The intense, exhausting battle you genuinely believed was still raging, still demanding your constant attention, actually concluded long before you even intellectually realized it. Your victory was sealed in the light, while you were still faithfully and diligently fighting in the dense darkness. Believing you were still locked in the struggle, the entire heavenly realm had already penned, finalized, and declared your decisive victory in brilliant, undeniable light. What felt like an utter, senseless chaos, a random series of painful events, was actually a perfectly timed, intricate, and divine choreography. Every instance of heartbreak, every frustrating delay, every moment you screamed, "Why, God?" was in hindsight a precise, calculated move for your ultimate divine positioning. You weren't losing any ground, despite how it felt in the moment. You were, in fact, being perfectly moved, step by painful step, directly into your established destiny. Every single sleepless night you heroically endured and survived was instantly recorded and archived in heaven's records. It was logged as indisputable evidence that your spirit flat out refused to fold under pressure. You prayed with a voice that was clearly trembling with fear and exhaustion. You worshipped and praised even when a profound, aching silence made you feel utterly betrayed and abandoned. And you courageously kept walking forward, one step at a time, even when the familiar, solid road seemed to vanish completely beneath your weary feet. That, chosen one, is the exact, potent force that utterly broke the system that had been so ruthlessly constructed and designed with the sole purpose of breaking you. That's the moment the tide turned. The raw truth is this: the battle didn't truly end the second all the external visible noise finally stopped. It ended the powerful moment your faith became demonstrably louder than the fear that had been speaking so fiercely into your soul. The enemy didn't execute a strategic retreat because he ran out of available weapons or resources. He was forced to retreat because you fundamentally and profoundly stopped reacting to his provocations. You became utterly unpredictable to him. You wisely stopped feeding the raging war with your frantic panic, and instead, you began to quietly, determinedly, fuel it with peace. And peace, my beloved chosen one, is a spiritual weapon that is inherently sharper and more destructive than any physical blade or sword ever forged. You see, intense spiritual warfare doesn't always culminate with a deafening, dramatic thunderclap that everyone can hear. Sometimes it concludes with a profound, final, and absolute silence. That quietude you are experiencing right now in your spirit is not an absence of anything good or vital. It is quite simply the aftermath. It is the beautiful, reassuring sound of heaven's cleanup crew, gently and thoroughly clearing away the wreckage, the debris, and the burdens that were never intended for you to carry in the first place. You've been asking yourself, why does everything feel so strangely calm lately? Why this deep, unsettling tranquility? The reason is wonderfully simple. The entire spiritual battlefield around you has already been systematically cleared. You are currently standing firmly in the new, undefended territory that your enemy was forced, by divine mandate, to absolutely abandon. You won, and you didn't even realize the final victory had been declared. The last desperate punch the enemy threw was nothing more than a desperate illusion, a pathetic mirage designed to keep you wildly swinging at invisible ghosts and imaginary threats. But at that moment, the divine simply whispered, "Enough." The celestial gavel slammed down. The final verdict was completely finalized and irrevocably rendered. The sentence of suffering, the curse that bound you, was fully and completely revoked. Every malicious curse and false accusation that attempted to attach itself to your sacred name has been permanently deleted from the heavens' eternal record, wiped clean by grace. The profound, heavy generational weight that had followed and plagued your family line for decades upon decades finally met its absolute, final limit, and it stopped right at you. The relentless bloodline battles, those cycles of pain that recycled and repeated themselves over and over, finally and utterly ran out of fuel because you simply and courageously refused to repeat the same destructive patterns that broke those who came before you. You became the intentional, necessary interruption, the divine firewall that stopped the advance. The very same demonic forces that gleefully celebrated your temporary falls and setbacks are now profoundly mourning your awakening. They literally cannot recognize the person you have become anymore, because you no longer vibrate. You no longer resonate at the low, predictable frequency of fear. They have completely lost their coordinates to your location. You have stepped firmly into a higher spiritual altitude, where their old, worn-out weapons cannot even effectively breathe, much less harm you. Yet I know a quiet, persistent part of you keeps automatically checking for renewed warfare, anxiously waiting for the next painful hit, the next sudden heartbreak, the next inevitable storm to begin. But I need you to hear me and understand this clearly. That anxiety, that expectation of doom, is merely the lingering ghost of an old, expired season. You are no longer residing, living, or operating in tedious, draining survival mode. You have courageously crossed the threshold and stepped into sovereignty. This is no longer a spiritual game of defense or simply holding the line. This is a life lived in absolute dominion. The same battles that once left you shaking and paralyzed with fear now, ironically, tremble and scatter when they even hear the sound of your name. What was initially intended by the enemy to be your final crushing burial has miraculously become the location of your glorious birth. You were purified and refined in an agonizing furnace that others tragically did not survive. And that is precisely why you now carry a holy, quiet fire that doesn't just fiercely burn or consume everything around you. It intensely illuminates and clarifies. The last decisive battle has already been fought and won. You are simply calmly walking through the incredible aftermath of your own hard-fought ultimate victory. You have been formally crowned in silence, divinely authorized in secret, and profoundly anointed in a period of necessary obscurity. God did not announce your massive breakthrough with a lot of external distracting noise or fanfare. He deliberately sealed it with peace. Because when the heavens complete and finish a war, a final campaign, there is no need, no compulsion, and no requirement to ever explain or justify the result to anyone. So please stop frantically looking for the proof of your victory in the old familiar pain. The overwhelming, undeniable evidence is in your sheer endurance. You are standing firmly and peacefully where countless others have fallen. You are breathing fully and deeply where others have tragically given up all hope. You are smiling genuinely where others were tragically buried by their sorrow. This is absolutely not coincidence. This is the tangible, beautiful result of an unshakable covenant. But I need you to listen even more closely now, because something of even greater magnitude and power is currently coming your way. The battlefield may be quiet, but that's not because nothing is actively happening behind the scenes. It's quiet because the heavens are meticulously and busily preparing the ground for your next, higher elevation. The enemy's sudden, profound silence is not a sign of his peace or surrender. It is his outright panic. He knows precisely what is currently being constructed and beautifully built around you right now. And this time, he will not, cannot, ever touch it. Stay intensely alert, stay firmly grounded in your faith, and stay with me until the very final breath of this message. Because what is about to be revealed next will unequivocally make you understand and realize why God let you fight so incredibly hard for something that, in the magnificent scheme of things, was already inherently irrevocably yours. Get ready for the next phase,